Okay, so as we finished up our last stage, we had the base. We created our toolpaths from it. I'm going to minimize this now, and I'm going to go out to Finder. And I use both Mac and Windows. I switch back and forth. Fusion 360 works on either. So oftentimes I'll be designing something in my house. I have my surface tied to my Shapeoko. So come in, do some modeling, make some tweaks, go back out to the garage, open it up in Fusion 360 on my PC because Fusion saves everything. It's all cloud-based. So I save it. I can go to another computer, open it up, um, re-update the toolpaths, and then send it over to my Shapeoko. Now the cool thing too, there's a program called let's see here. It is Universal Gcode Sender, and if you're searching for any help, oftentimes they use acronym UGS for the Universal Gcode Sender. But it's a JavaScript, so you can run it on Mac or PC as well. So it's been great that doesn't really matter what computer I have hooked up to my Shapeoko, I can easily do it from whatever. So this is some software that I found through the Shapeoko site when I was setting up my Shapeoko. And if you just do a search for Universal Gcode Sender, it's at version 1.07. I think they may have 1.08 right now. But here, I don't have my Shapeoko plugged in yet, but basically you have the port, and in my case, I'd pick the first USB, and it connects everything. I can kind of hear it chirp when it does that. I can go over to the machine control. These light up that I can do X, Y, Z. I can enable keyboard control, so I can just use my keypads to move left, right, and I think it's Alt or Command up, down to actually raise and lower the Z. So that's pretty nice. And then you can adjust the step size. So this helps you kind of zero in on your start position and works pretty well. So you can tell everything's hooked up and working right if you can use your left, right, up, down to control it. From there, one key piece is make sure when you're at your 0, 0 that you reset the 0. This is something I found that even if I connect it and it's in the right location to start with, in my case, oftentimes the Z is negative 12.6 or 12.7. So I need to hit reset 0, otherwise it travels up and then it comes down, but it's off the board about a ½ inch before it starts cutting. So, it doesn't work for me. So I just have to hit reset 0, it sets it to the right location, and then I'm good to go. So anyway, connect it, make sure you have the right port. You can hit open or refresh and open. Make sure you're using the gerbil firmware. File mode, I can browse out to the design that we created. So I'm just going to go to the desktop, pick base NC, open it up. It shows how many rows are in this file. And I'm starting to learn how big things are. But hard to say. Depending on rows doesn't always mean how long it's going to take, because it depends on how big the part is, obviously. Probably preaching to the choir. You guys are way more versed with this stuff than I am. But anyway, I can get the rows in here. I can visualize it. And this visualizer is pretty nice. Well, I don't know, the graphics aren't great, but it's nice for me to be able to see where my tool is going to start. I can see the order in how it's going to cut things. And this is real time. So as it's actually, if I hit send and my tool is moving on my Shapeoko, I can see it here as well. So they're in lockstep. So this is kind of handy to see where I'm at. You can zoom in and see how many steps down it is and all that good stuff. So I usually leave that on the side, especially if I'm really being kind of picky about what it's doing. So you can visualize it, and then from here, if everything's set up and you're ready to go, you can just hit send, and it will automatically shoot it off to your Shapeoko and the way you go, or your Carvey. And the way you go. So, it basically follows along. You can see what the time remaining is. The time remaining, probably varies for you. I control the bit speed and everything manually because I don't have all the cool stuff yet. So I suppose if you had all that stuff hooked up, it'd probably be a little bit more in sync with the time. But all things said and done, it's able to cut everything out. It works pretty awesome. So, I have designed these in Fusion and cut everything out with this exact process. So like I said, I'll share the design files. I'll share the post-process code, the G code, And it's if you have any questions or anything, let me know. But also, I love feedback on, if there are better ways to do some of these things. So if you have better processes or things that you think would work out better, certainly let me know. Like I said, I'm kind of picking a lot of this up and just learning as I go along. So hopefully that helps. Hopefully somebody picks something up that's beneficial. Fusion 360 is a pretty awesome tool, I think, to connect with my Shapeoko, and it's opened a whole new world of things that I can make. So, my garage, I don't really have a lot. I have my CNC machine. I have a chop saw. I'd love to get a table saw at some point, but I don't have a lot of room. So, I actually do a lot with my little CNC machine that I'd probably use other bigger tools for if I had, but because I don't have them, it works fantastic. So I can create some G code, and it's things like the tongue and groove. If I had a table saw, I'd probably do some of that with my table saw, but I don't, and it works really awesome. It just takes a little bit longer on my Shapeoko. So it's pretty amazing what you can do. It just takes a little bit of time to do it. So anyway, hopefully that was helpful.